Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News. This is Thursday night's calendar.
Hello, thank you very much for joining us. Here are tonight's main stories.
A huge explosion rocks a residential street in Halifax. Neighbours say they thought a bomb had gone off.
Bang, and all the house like shivering, and all the mirrors got broken, and I was very lucky to be alive.
Whilst one man had a miraculous escape, two people are seriously injured in hospital after the devastation in the middle of the night behind this cordon.
Anger after a police force destroys documents relating to the Battle of Orgreave. The government says it's deeply worrying.
To destroy evidence at that particular time speaks volumes to us, and it's very worrying.
A welcome breeze today, but a heat wave incoming as we head through the weekend. All the detail a little later on. And
sailing his way into the history books, the veteran from Doncaster on his record-breaking solo sail.
First tonight, neighbours said it was like a bomb going off. An explosion at a house in Halifax, which has left two people seriously hurt in hospital. 14
surrounding homes were evacuated in the early hours. One man living next to the house told us he's lucky to be alive.
Katie Oscroft is at the scene for us tonight, which is still behind a police cordon. Katie, what's the situation there this evening?
Well, Lara, this area's been busy all day with the fire crews carrying out their investigations. You can see at the moment they're on a high platform. They've been examining the damage to this property from above, testing the stability of what is left of the roof. We've also had cars being recovered in the last few minutes, cars damaged by flying debris. Now, this explosion was caught on CCTV from a nearby house, and on it you can hear those sounds which neighbours have described as like a bomb going off.
The first explosion shatters the still night. There are cries of terror. And then more loud bangs. Then fierce flames lit up the sky for miles. Most people in the area were by now awake and on the streets, and they saw this. Somehow from a house next to the one now destroyed by the explosion, Tayyab Mahmood escaped with his life.
Just heard like one noise, bang, and all the house like shivering, and all the mirrors got broken. Then I run downstairs, I come downstairs, I seen two people in front of me, like proper injured, like all gone black and burned or whatever. I'm shocked. I'm in shock. I'm very lucky to be alive today.
The air ambulance took the two badly injured people to hospital. Neighbours who were on the scene before the emergency services ran to help.
I was just thinking of the people in the houses. I got to about 2 or 3, I can't quite remember, I don't know what was coming over me, but about 2 or 3 houses away from the fire as far as the debris was blowing, where it was my own safety, and I was just praying on every door. And I just hope everybody's okay. I know that there's a couple of injuries.
Did you hear it before you saw it?
Yeah, it was extremely loud.
Sophie saw the flames from the next street.
There was initially a big bang and it shook the house, like even our house. And then after the big bang there was like fireworks sounds almost, and then followed by a few other bigger bangs from when the fire went down further.
Marie can see the damage from her attic window.
It literally, the roof on fire. I'd never seen anything like it before. Yeah, within 20 minutes the whole house had gone. It's crazy.
Did you worry about the people in your own house? You've got a baby here?
Yeah, I worried, like, obviously my daughter stood there like, I don't know what to do, is it going to spread? I was like, it's not going to spread here, but if it spreads through the houses, we might get evacuated because of the smoke.
Fire crews have spent the day making this area safe and investigating how this happened. Gas engineers have also been on the scene. The extent of the damage here is by day becoming clearer. The shock of what happened last night is still sinking in.
Yes, and back live to Katie now. And Katie, a hive of activity behind you still. What happens next?
Well, Ian, for people who live here behind this cordon, this is far from over. Calderdale Council had staff out in the middle of the night finding accommodation for those 14 households who had to leave so abruptly. We've also had gas engineers on site all day trying to find out the exact cause of this explosion. They have told us that there is no apparent problem with the network. Now, Tayyab Mahmood, who you saw in my report, I should say he is okay. He was in hospital overnight, but he has been released. He's been found accommodation, and he particularly wanted to thank his neighbours, who he said supported him during the most terrifying night of his life.
Yes, indeed. Drama all around. Thanks very much, Katie, live in Halifax for us tonight. A nurse known as the Angel of Death, who was jailed for murdering 4 elderly patients in Leeds, has lost an appeal against his convictions. Colin Campbell, who was previously known as Colin Norris, was found guilty of killing 4 female inpatients with insulin. It happened on the orthopaedic wards where he worked in 2008. He denied any wrongdoing. His case was referred to the Court of Appeal, where he argued that new expert knowledge meant his convictions were unsafe. But today judges dismissed his appeal.
The cause of a plane crash 2 years ago near Bagby Airfield in North Yorkshire, where a 21-year-old pilot died, remains unknown. Harvey Dunmore lost his life in the incident. A report published by the Air Accident Investigation Branch has been unable to identify the exact reason why the plane nosedived to the ground, finding the plane had no identifiable defects.
A decision by a police force to destroy documents relating to the Battle of Orgreave has been described by the government today as deeply worrying.
The violent clash outside the South Yorkshire coking plant in June 1984 has long been described as the darkest, bloodiest episode in the year-long miners' strike. More than 100 people were injured and 95 picketers arrested.
Their trials later collapsed due to unreliable police evidence, and in the 40 years since, campaigners have been calling for an inquiry.
Well, let's get more details on this with our political correspondent, Charanpreet Kaira, who's been following developments on this today. Good evening, Charanpreet. Just how did this come to light?
Good evening, Lara. Well, this actually came out because of the work of a PhD student, Joe Diviney. Now, he's a historian. He'd been looking into the Battle of Orgreave and the miners' strikes, and he got in touch with Northumbria Police asking for records under a Freedom of Information request. Well, they got back to him and they told him that 2 boxes of documents related to the Battle of Orgreave had been destroyed. Now, that, of course, came as a shock to him, but it's also been shocking to campaigners.
Well, as a historian, I was mortified because that's indispensable. That record, once gone, is lost forever. And on a personal level, I'm just saddened for the miners and their families who've waited far too long for truth and justice.
In its major evidence, Northumbria Police played quite a major role at the police riot at Orgreave. Although there is film footage, we do still need written evidence, and we need statements from the people that were involved at the time to be able to illustrate to the rest of the country and to the inquiry panel what actually happened at that time.
And Charanpreet, concerns have been raised about this at Westminster, where you are, of course, today. What's been said?
Yeah, that's right, Ian. I mean, it's worth remembering that the Labour Party actually had in its manifesto at the general election just last year a pledge that the truth about the events at Orgreave comes to light. Clearly, the question of malpractice in the police would be central to that, and this makes investigating that even harder.
This sounds like a deeply, deeply worrying development in this case, and I'm sure the whole House will be shocked to hear it. He has campaigned for justice and for answers in relation to what happened at Orgreave 41 years ago. He raised it with me last week. I will continue to raise that with ministers on his behalf, and I would join him in saying to people, anyone involved, that they must retain the records and they must come forward, as they would be expected to do when those questions are asked, with every bit of information they've got on what happened.
And just finally, Charanpreet, what has the police force had to say?
Well, in a statement, Northumbria Police told us, we can confirm 2 boxes containing data in relation to the miners' strike were disposed of in April 2024 following a formal review, retain or disposal process in line with force policy and the Data Protection Act. Well, we did also ask if they would speak to us, but they declined to join us for an interview.
Charanpreet Kaur live in Westminster, thank you. Now stay with us because still to come here on Calendar, Power by Name.
James Power!
Power by Nature, the Yorkshire fighter preparing for the biggest bout of his life, and
a little bit tired, but I'm good. I'm very good.
We'll be heading to Japan, where Craig Wood from Doncaster has sailed his way into the history books. Well, next to the issue of special education for children and how one primary school in Sheffield has been trialling a scheme to support neurodivergent pupils in a mainstream setting.
As part of a government programme to help 300,000 pupils, and it's called the Partnership for Inclusion of Neurodiversity in Schools, otherwise known as the PINS programme. £9.5 million is earmarked for it to be shared right across the country.
With an estimated 1 in 7 children being neurodiverse, it's hoped that early interventions will help them thrive at school. Sarah Clark has been to Carfield Primary to find out how it's all working.
The girl hugged her brother.
7-year-old Athena, who's being assessed for autism, struggled to write a few months ago. Now she's excelling, thanks to early interventions, even writing to her favourite character.
I wrote this to the Gruffalo and I feel proud about it.
It's amazing to see the progress that she's made and the confidence that she's gained from knowing that before she was on half a timetable, and now obviously her increased progress and the things that we've put in place at school have allowed her to kind of access learning.
Using strategies developed by specialist educational and health professionals, funded by the government's PINS initiative for the inclusion of neurodiversity in schools, Athena's teacher's been able to improve her learning, as well as giving her mother regular updates.
Yeah, I can see there's a lot more work in this book compared to the beginning of the year. She has improved immensely. I'm so proud of her, so proud of her. It's making me want to cry thinking about it, sorry. There is progress happening. I see progress in my child. It's not for everyone, but in my child I see huge progress. Having this funding and allowing to make these changes so they fit in. They are getting that help they need.
It's been really helpful because PINS have provided lots of outside agencies to help us further develop our provision. So they've provided occupational therapists, they've provided speech and language therapists, and they've provided support from the Parent Carer Forum as well.
Nearly 1 in 5 pupils at Carfield Primary School have special educational needs and disabilities. 9-year-old Jackson Bird has a rare genetic disorder, so benefits from additional changes to his school routine, like quieter lunchtimes and staggered starts.
There's not loads of children overwhelming him. He can talk to people if he wants to talk to people and be heard, because he struggles and he'll just fade into the background if there's too many people. He loves coming to school every morning. He used to cry, absolutely hate it, but now he enjoys coming in and it's a lot easier on him. Obviously a lot still needs to be done for kids that haven't been diagnosed and haven't been noticed yet.
Both staff and parents say the initiative is a good step forward, but more needs to be done to ensure all neurodivergent children thrive in mainstream. Sarah Clark, ITV News in Sheffield.
Right, on to the weather with Kerry now, and she's here because I think it's fair to say it's been pretty warm this month, Kerry.
Yes, Public service alert here and now. If you've got a window that you can open and a door, let it all waft through the next few hours, because honestly we'll be trying to push out the warm and humid air over the next 4 days at least. It did get a little bit fresher this afternoon and through into this evening. We've just got a little pocket of slightly fresher air that's been working its way in from the west. But as we head through tomorrow, we've got a southwesterly. It's coming all the way from the Atlantic actually, but it's warm and windy. But there's fairly intense heat wave over Europe at the moment, and we are tapping into that heat as the weekend wears on. So we start to import that southerly, some more warm and humid air Sunday into Monday actually. And Monday of course is the last day of June, and it could be one of the warmest, and certainly one of the warmest starts to Wimbledon of course that begins, as well as of course if you're travelling further afield to Glastonbury and all that kind of thing at the moment. Very hot and humid if that is your cup of tea. Just to reassert all the health and the heat words that you've probably been reading in the press over the last few days. We issue an extreme heat warning. The last time we did that actually was July 2022, and it's normally when we get temperatures above 35 degrees. There is an amber heat health warning. That's really actually not for us, it's for the emergency services and responders, so they can respond to the impacts of heat health. And our heat wave warnings or statements that we make, which is basically that threshold of 25 to 27 degrees for 3 consecutive days. And we are looking at that as we head into the weekend. And it's basically swings and roundabouts, isn't it? We're so dry. This is Batings Reservoir near Ripponden. A big thank you to Bob from Pontefract. You can't normally see that bridge, I don't believe, at this time of the year. It's normally underwater. And this is Woodhead Reservoir, which is literally grassed over. A big thank you to Sandy for that shot. Yeah, with the warm weather, yeah, it's just basically grassed over. But it's also someone else's cup of tea. This is Thornwick Bay. Puffin watching earlier on. A big thank you to Julie for that shot. And Brian's cherries are ripening very well in the current conditions. There you go.
I'm glad to hear it.
I like a cherry. Thank you.
Yeah, they look great. Now there's some sport, and Sheffield Wednesday owner Defshon Chansiri says he's actively trying to sell the club. In a statement released this morning, Chansiri says discussions with a prospective American consortium had broken down. He also apologised for not paying wages on time and says he's actively looking for new investment to help the club fulfil their financial obligations.
Meanwhile, the Football League fixtures for next season have been announced today. Wednesday will begin their Championship campaign with a trip to Leicester, recently relegated from the Premier League, of course. Meanwhile, Sheffield United start with a home tie against Bristol City, the team they beat in the playoff semi-finals in May. Elsewhere, Bradford and Doncaster begin life in League One with home games against Wycombe and Exeter, respectively. Now then, Ian, have you heard of nominative determinism? It's a difficult word to get out.
I have heard of that phrase before, yes, but I've never tried to say it.
Well, it is when your name, if I can get this right, dictates what you do or what you're actually interested in. So what do you think James Power from Wakefield does?
I don't know, drive motorsports cars, or maybe he's an electrician, or maybe a weightlifter or something like that.
Well, something like that, because James is a mixed martial arts fighter, and this weekend has the biggest fight of his career so far. Chris Dawkes has been to see him.
With a name like James Power, it's little wonder this is his game. James is a mixed martial arts or MMA fighter. He's been doing it for 15 years.
I was overweight as a kid, and I tried going to the gym to lose weight, and I just wasn't motivated. I didn't find it fun. I didn't try hard enough, and it just wasn't working for me. And then the university I was at the time, I went and gave it a go, and just fell in love with it straight away.
5 years ago, James quit his job running a doggy daycare centre to open this gym in Ossett, West Yorkshire. By then, he was already a professional kickboxer. Soon, he would join Cage Warriors.
James Power!
It's got a lot of history. Big names from the European scene that you know of in the UFC came through Cage Warriors, so like Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett, to name a few. So it's got that prestige about it.
I don't think anybody wants their child to be hurt or to hurt anybody else, so it was a bit nerve-wracking initially, but then I've seen how good he is.
It's usually several minutes of sweating and palpitations, so it's a bit uncomfortable then, but he usually sails through them very well.
So well that after 8 wins from 9, this weekend James fights for the interim lightweight title.
So is this on Saturday the biggest fight of your career so far?
It's 100% the biggest fight of my career, and this could be the golden ticket to get me to that next level as well.
And that next level is the UFC, widely considered the biggest and wealthiest MMA promotion. That's the dream, but for now James already has his hands full running a gym and getting the run around from his 1-year-old son Sol. Chris Dawkes, ITV News, Ossett.
Oh, good luck to him. Now then, on last night's programme, we told you how a man from Doncaster has become the world's first triple amputee to sail solo, unaided, across the Pacific.
Former Army rifleman Craig Wood set off from Mexico in March and was totally unsupported on the 90-day journey, covering 7,500 nautical miles and ending in Japan.
He faced unpredictable weather, sleep deprivation, let alone the challenges from his injuries. Well, he's now in Hiroshima, and earlier I asked him how his journey had been.
Yeah, it was arduous, long, very long. 90 days at sea on my own, so it's quite solitary. But I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and it was starting to get to a point where it was nice to finish. Relieved I'm finished, and now I'm safe in Japan.
Have there been any scary moments along the way?
There's a few hairy moments. My boom came off, which meant it was swinging around, and if that hit me, then of course it was in the middle of the night. But if that hit me, it could have hurt me quite bad. And then one of my engines broke. My hand broke, my prosthetic hand. So yeah, there was quite a lot of excitement. Yeah.
It certainly sounds like it. I mean, as you say, your hand broke. I mean, there can't be anything a bit more scary than that, really, because you rely on that.
I do, yeah. So when I started to pull the ropes, I usually hook my arm around the rope and pull. So I've essentially got two hands when I'm pulling the rope. But yeah, I broke it, and then I had to pull the sail in, and was like, oh wow, oh no, what do I do? And so I had to, a bit of a quick thinking, but I sorted it out. Yeah, it's all good.
That's good to know. And what was it like? Those real solitary moments where, I don't know, maybe in the dead of night or whatever, was it good to have thinking time, or again, was that a bit scary?
No, quite fortunately, I've spent quite a lot of time on my own. So the thinking time and the self-reflection is something that I do quite a lot of anyway. So there wasn't a real profound epiphany or anything like that.
And of course, as we said, you're in Japan now. So what's next?
Well, I've got to prepare the boat for typhoon season here, and clean it up and get back to my wife and children, and get ready to be a parent for the 3rd time. So that's going to be really good. And then in winter we'll probably fly back to Japan and head south, I think.
Well, it's been great to catch up with you. Thanks ever so much. Congratulations. And thanks very much for joining us, Craig.
Thank you so much.
And I'm back sitting down. Now, there's more on Craig's remarkable record-breaking solo sail over on the calendar website, itv.com/calendar. Well worth a look.
Yeah, time to catch up with Kerry now in that weather.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, turning bright and breezy this afternoon after that slightly unsettled start with a bit more cloud around and a few showers, but some great skyscapes. A big thank you to Beryl for this shot, weather photos at itv.com, and also to Chris for this one. But it does turn more humid again as we head into the early part of tomorrow morning, and then Friday is bright and breezy for many of us, especially the further south and east you go. And yes, the rumours are true, it's hotting up once more as we head through the weekend. So this was the start this morning. Then we had that lovely slice of sunshine, although although breezy for the afternoon and early evening. And then we've got this area of cloud that is likely to bring at least a few showers, fairly intense, very quickly moving from west-east during the middle part of the night. As we head towards dawn, though, it will become a little bit damp, misty and murky over the Dales. Fairly cloudy, mostly dry, and those temperatures and humidity starting to rise once more as we head into the early part of Friday. 4:37 and 9:41 ISM times for tomorrow. That northwest-southeast split for the morning, certainly for the Pennines and especially the Yorkshire Dales, cloudy and damp. But the further south and east, the drier, brighter conditions, some hazy sunshine, and the winds really quite strong, but from a warm direction and importing the humidity, highs of around 25 or 26 Celsius. Pretty uncomfortable night, Friday night into Saturday, in terms of the temperatures and humidity. But as we head into the day itself, yes, there'll be a little bit more cloud for the north and west, but the further south and east you go, the better sunshine and the warmer of the temperatures, 26, possibly 27. Warmer still Sunday into Monday by day and by night. Lighter winds, fairly oppressive, particularly by night. Mostly dry though by day, with a decent dose of sunshine by Monday.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Lovely pink poppy, very popular with the bees, not so popular the pollen forecast over the next few days. It's back up to high Friday and into the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to take your advice to keep the windows open. I think that's a really good one.
Just need a bit of fresh air this evening. Yeah.
It all starts tonight then.
Humidity rising into the early hours, yeah, and then, yeah, just day on day. Bleh, if you like it.
Getting warm. Just keep watching calendar.
Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.